Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast, Igbo Global Network. My name is Tony Wisi. I'm your host for tonight. We are discussing the topical issue in Nigeria today. The topical issue in Nigeria, the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that is the issue, the topic we're discussing today. Igbo Global Network demands the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, as you know, has been held against his will by the Nigeria state for over 3 years. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was kidnapped in Kenya and brought to Nigeria forcefully against his will, with all manner of trumped-up charges against him. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not been found guilty of any offense anywhere in the world, yet the Nigeria state continues to detain him. The UN working group has also demanded that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu be released and be compensated, yet the Nigeria state continues to hold him. What is the reason for holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Some people say that Nnamdi Kanu is being held down because he's an Igbo man. There is no other offense he has committed other than the offense of being an Igbo man. Nnamdi Kanu is being held. The only crime that can be attributed to Nnamdi Kanu is the crime of seeking self-determination for the Igbo people. That is it. I'm not aware of any other crime that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been found guilty of. And so today, we come to Igbo, and we come to Nigerians as a whole with a demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So to do justice to this topic tonight, I have a great panel here, a veteran, Mazi Mbakwe, who's here with us, and also Barrister Nekwe, Chukuma Nekwe is with us. Pastor Neka, representing the clergy, is here, and Chief Dennis will join us shortly. Tonight, we're discussing our demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. But first, let's go to the legal issue. Let's go to the legal mind to tell us, does Nigeria as a state have any legal basis whatsoever for holding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu for 3 years? Barrister Nekwe, the legal case for Nigeria, if at all, what case does Nigeria present for holding Nnamdi Kanu, and does it have any merit of any sort? Barrister Nekwe.
Yeah, thank you, Convener. Ndi Igbo ekene unu. Daalụnụ. Ebe onye ọbụla nọ. Thank you, our veteran, and thank you, our illustrious pastor and sister, Pastor Neka. Daalụnụ.
Thank you. Daalụ.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Convener, for this work, for this special program today. The program that is centered on the demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. And you started on a very, very strong footing by asking if Nigeria government have any legal stand to keep on holding Nnamdi Kanu. I think the answer to that question is very, very clear, because Nigeria cannot exist in isolation. Nigeria is a member of the Committee of Nations. And being a member of Committee of Nations, Nigeria has an obligation to uphold the various instruments on human rights. And not just Nigeria government, but all the institutions of governance in Nigeria. Let us, for the sake of argument, to say institutions of governance. They are expected to uphold the same obligation. So if the Nigeria government from the top uphold the same obligation, all the institutions should follow suit. But if the Nigeria government decide not to uphold their obligation, they will merely use all their institutions to validate what they don't want to do. And it is because of that validation that made them to arrest Nnamdi Kanu in the first place. Because Nigeria government does not have any stand to arrest a man who was expressing his fundamental human rights, or who was expressing the group rights of his people, be it Igbo or Biafrans. Because the right to self-determination is the foundation of every other human rights. So why should Nigeria government arrest a man that is demanding for the right to self-determination? The answer is very obvious. Nigeria government does not have any right to arrest Nnamdi Kanu in the first place. Because Biafrans have the right to self-determination in accordance with all the relevant international instruments. And Nigeria is a signatory to that international instrument. So how can Nigeria now, in one breath, accept the same international instrument, the same provision of right to self-determination, and in the same breath, turn around to arrest a man that is demanding for the same right that Nigeria acceded to? How can one explain that? The first time they arrested him, he was granted bail. He abided by the bail conditions, but still the Nigerian government did not abide by their own bargain of the bail conditions. They invaded his house, and based on the principle of self-preservation, Nnamdi Kanu have to take steps to protect his life. So he did not jump bail.
Absolutely.
And while he was outside, the same Nigeria government find a way to accost him in Kenya and violated the same international norms, that the international instrument that they signed to, by abducting Nnamdi Kanu, torturing him, and bringing him to Nigeria. You should mind my word, by kidnapping Nnamdi Kanu, first of all, that is the first crime, and torturing him, another crime again, and bringing him before a law court in Nigeria. And as you ask, what is the legal position? The legal position is supposed to be clear, because the human rights instrument and the human rights provisions is not just a myth. It is something that is supposed to be applicable in concrete situation. And how should it be applicable in the case of Kanu? It should apply as a prophylactic rules to check against the excesses of government. So that being so, one wonders how a Nigerian court can allow the same Nnamdi Kanu that was abducted and tortured in violation of his rights and all the relevant international laws and conventions. How can he be fit and proper before a court of law? Allowing him to be proper before a court of law, you cannot. It means that the Nigerian court is trying to accept the fruit of the poisonous tree, and they continue to proceed in that direction. The more they keep Nnamdi Kanu, and the more they want to proceed to go and try him, irrespective of the defective procedural step that led to his presence in court, is a validation of lawlessness, a validation of gross violation of human rights, and the reinforcement of the same white supremacist assessment of black man as being undeserving of fundamental human rights. So Nigeria, being the most populous black nation, is supposed to be at the forefront of preserving the fundamental human rights of black people. But by arresting Nnamdi Kanu and continue to use the institutions of state, especially the judiciary, to entertain the same defective procedural step that led to his arrest, attests to the fact that Nigeria doesn't want not only to uphold its obligation to international instruments, but to uphold the tenets and the values of Pan-Africanism that's supposed to push Nigeria to be at the forefront of preserving the human rights of the black race. That is why when we demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, when the Igbo Global Network demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, they're not demanding it as Igbo people. They're demanding it as embodiment of the values of Pan-Africanism. Pan-Africanism entails that no black man, no African should be treated as a subhuman being. the way the Nigeria government is treating Nnamdi Kanu and treating the entire Igbo race at large. This is what the message they are sending by the continual detention of Nnamdi Kanu. What is wrong in self-determination? What is wrong in demanding for the right to self-determination to remedy the cohesive homogenization of manifest incompatible ethnic groups? If the ethnic groups are the beneficiaries of Nigeria, why can't they be allowed to determine it? This is central to what Nnamdi Kanu is asking. And it is within his right to ask those questions. Those questions is what the Nigerian government should engage in a civilized way to provide the answers. It should not warrant the dehumanization of Nnamdi Kanu or the dehumanization of Igbo. This is why all the Igbo politicians, the governors, even the deputy speaker of House of Representatives should understand that nobody can promise transformative governance without the right to self-determination. The same way there can never be real democracy without the right to self-determination. The same way there can never be socio-economic advancements of the black race or all the ethnic groups in Nigeria without the right to self-determination. This is the issue. This is what Nnamdi Kanu embodies. When we demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, it's not an affront to the Nigerian government. It's not an affront to any ethnic group. It is a demand to reclaim the dignity of Africans, to say and attest to the fact that what is good for the Palestinians is good for Africans. What is good for the Kosovo is good for Africans. Because if you continue to detain Nnamdi Kanu, the message out there is that there's two types of human rights. One human right for the white people and for the Asians, and zero human right for the black race, especially for the Igbos and other people in similar situations. So that is the legal position. The legal position is clear that Nnamdi Kanu have the right to self-determination. He has the right to use the avenue of the right to freedom of expression to demand for the right to self-determination. In doing so, he did not commit a crime. And the Nigerian judiciary is supposed to rise up to the occasion and put a stop to the practice of the federal government to push them to be entertaining the fruits of the poisonous tree. The arrest of Nnamdi Kanu and his presence in court amount to the continuous entertaining of the fruits of the poisonous tree. It should not be so. It is a violation of human rights, and it makes the human rights instrument to become a mere myth when it concerns black people, but become a reality when it concerns white people. The whole world owes Nnamdi Kanu the obligation to attest and to demonstrate that there's no differentiation in the application of the human rights laws by demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu in accordance with the demand of the UN Working Group and in accordance with all the tenets, all the jurisprudence that underlined the United Nations, all the jurisprudence that came out from the Nuremberg trial. The Nuremberg trial was put in place to reinforce the humanistic aspects of human rights. We demand that humanistic aspect of human rights that came about from the Nuremberg trial should be extended to the Igbos, and should be extended to the Biafrans, and should be extended by releasing Nnamdi Kanu, and should be extended to other Africans in similar situations. This is what we are saying today, that the demand for Nnamdi Kanu's release is lawful and legal. Thank you very much, Convener.
Thank you, Barrister. I mean, is it any wonder that white folks look down on black folks? You know, I mean, we still have to deal with the concept of white supremacy and their nonsense. But imagine when, with the white supremacy concept, they enslaved black people for centuries, held black people in chains for centuries, used them for forced labor, and so on and so forth, chained their hands and their legs. And the civil rights movement in America fought and fought and fought and fought against that for the freedom of the black race. And now you have a black nation, a black country. You have Nigeria, an African country, literally doing the same thing, attempting to enslave one of their own. Is it any wonder that Caucasians look down on Africans sometimes? Because Mazi Nnamdi, like you rightly said, Nigerian government is a signatory to all these international treaties on human rights. Yet, they hold down their own for absolutely no reason whatsoever. Mazi Nnamdi, what do you make of this?
Thank you, Convener, and thank you very much, our last speaker, Barrister Nekwe. You nailed the matter right, point blank. You see, what is playing in Nigeria is that slave plantation metaphor. Here we are in the slave plantation. The field slave, the house slave, the proxies at play, full play. What you see in Aso Rock is not really Tinubu. It is Britain under the mask of a Yoruba man. Like the old gramophone, if you look at the picture of the old gramophone, you see the box, the boom box, and then with a dog speaking to a microphone, his master's voice. So what you have in Aso Rock is somebody playing his master's voice, which is Tinubu, and which was also Buhari. So Nnamdi Kanu being held in jail today is also the making of Britain and its allies. And so in order to win ourselves off that plantation, we don't have to look at ourselves. We have to begin to ask ourselves questions. The Igbo man, the Nigerian, why do we want to continue to stay in the slave plantation? Why do we want to be our brother's detriment? Why can't we fight to get out of the tutelage of our colonial master, Britain, and of course, United States right now? Nnamdi Kanu did nothing wrong. He did absolutely nothing wrong. He was advocating for his people. He was asking for the very least that any good government should have provided to its people. Nnamdi Kanu was asking for the self, for us to our existence. He was asking for basic amenities like electricity. He was asking for good roads. He was asking for seaport. And he was telling the federal government that what they were doing was wrong. That was his fundamental human right. He was not planning any treason other than speaking out for his people. And now he's being held. After even the international community, the United Nations have recommended for him to be released. Even the Nigerian local court and Supreme Court have also found him not guilty. Yet federal government of Nigeria is still bent on keeping him in jail. What happened to Sunday Igboho? He's a free man today. What happened to Oshore? He's a free man today. Why are they holding Nnamdi Kanu? Now, our people, it's our duty, it's the duty of our governors, both present and ex-governors, our politicians. I know to err is human, we make mistakes, but by now we should have realized that we injured ourselves and therefore should start to begin to make amends. Governors, ex-governors, current governors should rally around and bring Nnamdi Kanu out. They are the one holding him. It's not really the federal government. In the first place, when Nnamdi Kanu was arrested, when they sent the Python dance, that governor there in Umuahia, Ikpeazu, could have prevented that from happening. He was the father of the state. And any foreign body coming in should seek his permission before coming in to do anything with any of his citizens. Yet he was there, he planned, he was in cohort with them. They took him. And today they are not saying nothing. None of the governors are saying nothing. Is it Rochas or Okorocha? Is it whoever is there now in Imo State? But they all had the opportunity to amass wealth to be compromised and continue
That's not in Imo State they're talking about.
So anyway, Nnamdi Kanu has committed no crime. He's an innocent man. We should not waste any further minute in fighting to get him out. He needs to be free. Sunday Igboho is free today. Why can't our governors OHANEZE Igbo? Why are you all silent? Because what you are doing today may not continue forever. The young lion has woken up. And we're going to come after you people. Yes, we're going to come after you. And come after whatever you own. This is not a threat. We are outraged. We are at a point of break. And when we break, it's not going to be fun for any of you. Yes, we will. Because that country is not meant for you alone. It's meant for us, every one of us, to have those basic amenities that God has endowed on us. Do not make the life of your fellow man miserable. That's my warning to the governors, to the politicians that have worked together to keep Nnamdi Kanu in detention today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mazi Mbakwe. Igbo Global Network calls demands for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We've heard the legal case against Nigeria, and we've also heard Mazi Mbakwe say clearly a caution to Igbo politicians. Now, I want to come to you, Chief Dubem. The politicians' responsibility is to represent the interest of their constituency. So the governor of Abia State at the time, Ifeanyi Ikpeazu, it was his duty, his sacred duty, his responsibility at the time, the duty of the senators, the two senators for each state, the duty of the members of the House of Rep. It was their duty, the deputy governor, it was their duty to advocate for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in the first place, to resist the military assault on the home of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Chief Dennis, what is your message to Igbo politicians, beginning with Chief Governor Ikpeazu, his deputy, and the senator? What is your message to them as Igbo Global Network demands the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu?
Yeah, I think, let me say it. It is not even about Ikpeazu that is out of office, nor even Abaribe or Ojuzo Kalu as our senators. Let me say this loud and clear, that the leadership of Nigeria, as at the time Buhari was there, and the apparent continuation of Buhari's systematic evil against Nnamdi that has continued. We are the ones that showed pepper. They just showed us pepper. And let me say this, without missing word. Whatever you hear the Nnamdi Kanu say, let the president of Nigeria, Tinubu, hear this. And let all that are in leadership in Nigeria today know this. Let the security agencies know this. Let the judiciary know this. Whatever they ever heard Mazi Nnamdi Kanu say to them, for which they think they are now holding him down. You cannot beat a child and resist or refuse him from crying. So what did he say that was out of place? That he demanded that if you people refuse to treat us well, give us the space to go and be ourselves. It's a simple statement of fact. It is from the heart of Nnamdi Igbo. So let me say that the truth of the matter is that beyond Britain and America, other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria are holding Nnamdi Igbo on their neck. They don't want us to breathe in. And I'm not going to isolate any of them. It's not about politicians. It's about the people, part of the country that have actively come to oppose the injustices being meted on Nnamdi Igbo. What did we do? What is our crime? Let them come in the open and tell us what our crimes are. Why will you, to that extent, continue to show Nnamdi Igbo that they have no say in Nigeria? Continue to show Nnamdi Igbo that they cannot do anything in Nigeria? Why must it be so? So, this is where I have issue with the other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria. Nigeria, we all came into it, well, not because we signed any paper that we want to come, we find ourselves here. And if we must tell ourselves the truth, if what is being done to Nnamdi Igbo is being done to other ethnic nationalities in Nigeria, would they be happy with it? What they have done by incarcerating Igbo, we are holding you people down. What can you do?
Exactly.
And the whole world know that Nnamdi Igbo can do something. And we are calling on the president of Nigeria today, all that love Nigeria, and they should let Nnamdi Kanu come out of that prison. They should release Nnamdi Igbo from that detention. They are not holding Nnamdi Kanu, they are holding every Igbo man. They are holding every Igbo woman. Nnamdi Kanu did not speak his mind. He spoke our mind. Let them know it now. Let them release the man, because there is nothing we have done against this country. We are all over the country. We are trying to put in our own little efforts to gather crime. What is our crime? Now, look at this. And I want to say it. I'm not going to refer to Igboho. Igboho is an agitator like Nnamdi Kanu, and I'm happy with him. So what I'm happy with him, okay? They are contributing their own part in the liberation of the black race from the slave mindset the white people has pushed us into, and we are deluding in it for long. I love them. But look at this. There are terrors, terrible characters that Nigerians know, but today they are dining even with the presidency. Okay? We have people like Dokubo Asari. One more. Why is he not in detention? And see Olumo, what the terrors Nigerians are having. Gumi, whatever they call him, these are people that are real trouble to Nigeria, but they're working freely everywhere in the country and all over the world. But the whole world and Nigeria in particular, the suffocation of Ndibo in the name that they have. It is not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, it is every Igbo man, home and abroad, that are kept in that dungeon. Okay. Whether it was in the time of Ukeze Ikpeazu, Abaribe and others, what do we think they would have been able to do when the powers in Abuja, I don't want to use rough words, you know, when the powers in Abuja have sent their errand boys to go and deal with, now what can they do? How would they even stop them? Obey laws? They don't. They don't even believe in their constitution. We should know that. So they can do anything they choose to do. And so how do we think that an average Igbo man in politics or in whatever, as at that time, even now, can be able to do anything? The day I wept in the open was the day I saw the venerable and well-revered elderly statesman and the person of Amechi Mbazulike go on his knees to beg Buhari for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. And he was fooled as they want to fool every other Igbo man. Today we are making a call at Igbo Global Network level. Let Tinubu let Nnamdi go. Let the judiciary let Nnamdi go. I am sure that it is not because of any crime he committed. I am sure it is because they want to show Igbo people shege, as they will say, in bitter taste from them. If they don't want to let us go, if they don't want to let us come out of that dungeon, we are gonna
I think Chief Defem is probably having connection problems. Are you back? Are you back? Go ahead, Chief Dennis.
Yeah, I've just concluded.
Thank you. I think one of the mistakes that the clergy made, you know, well-intentioned, but still an error. You know, the venerable that you talked about, the Reverend gentleman, that an elderly man, a statesman, went to Buhari to plead. I mean, it is dramatic, you know. You know, that's where we differ. Why would you plead for what is your right? And the reason why we're in this mess is because, you know, our Igbo elders, Igbo politicians, OHANEZE, Igbo have not demanded. You don't beg for your rights. You don't plead for your right. And there's nowhere where you beg for your right. You only get your right when you demand it. When you demand it. Your right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, Nnamdi Kanu's right to life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, Nnamdi Kanu's right to free speech. You demand it. And so I want to go to Pastor Neka, you know, to see what is your message to the clergy, to every pastor, every bishop, every archbishop, even the Pope. What is your message to the clergy? Because we cannot be preaching liberty and God's love, and then a man is held down, and then we're begging and pleading and we're praying. What is your message to every bishop, every pastor in Alibu, in Nigeria, around the world? What is your message to the clergy, Pastor Neka, about the the assault on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rights?
Thank you for this opportunity for me to speak on behalf of the pastors. It's an honor, really. And I thank everyone that has spoken. You've spoken your mind and what is right. Coming to what I'm about to say, well, this man that liberated the blacks from America, that said, I have a dream.
Martin Luther King.
Martin Luther King said, I have a dream. Every Igbo man has a dream. We didn't find ourselves in Africa just by chance. No, we're destined to be there. That is where the Lord God places us and blesses us with heavenly blessings. Now, going to what is happening to our brother Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in prison. In my own aspect of what I have seen going on is all about jealousy. An Igbo man is being jealous wherever he finds himself, even all over the world. Because why? Why are we being tortured and jealous? Because we stand firm against the slavery of the white man. We stand firm that they will not enslave us. People died in the sea because they said for them to be a slave, better for them to die. And that is our nature. That is why the white man doesn't like us. That is why the white man has instituted hatred among the blacks to hate us. Wherever we are, even abroad that we are, when you call your name, they know who you are. They know where you are coming from. So in that case, we as the black, because what is happening in Nigeria is not Nigerian doing it, it's the white people doing it. It's the Britain and America doing what is happening in Nigeria. It's not the black man. In that case, what I'm going to say is that we know that we are not being liked because of our intelligence. Because if they leave us, we are going to overshadow whoever, even the world, in our act and cry. Because God bless us with every heavenly blessing. That is the only rains I know that God has blessed us with heavenly blessings that we can do and undo in the world. And the white people saw that. They saw it when they came in. It took them only 3 months to defeat the Yorubas and the Awuzes. But it took them 3 years to penetrate the Igbo land. They have to, I read the history, they have to first learn our culture for them to penetrate into us. And they use religion because they know that we are the sons and daughters of the Most High God. We value God so much. And that is why they use religion to deceive us. They use the Bible in one hand to deceive us, and they use God in the other hand to destroy us. But right now, our eyes are open. I am a pastor. I preach the word. Yes, I preach the word of God. The word is the word of God. It's not a word of white man. I preach what the Bible said, not as a white man. I preach the real, raw word of God. When coming to in the path of the pastors or ministers, I would say that we, as the Biafrans or the Igbos or South and Southeast, these are people that make up the Biafrans. Because of what is happening, they have to divide us in order to rule us. Now, some people are denying their roots, where they come from, but it doesn't matter. Whether they deny the road, whether they didn't deny, it doesn't matter. What will be, will be. And what I'm saying, what will be that as a Biafran, as an Igbo man, we need to rise up. Every Igbo pastors, wherever they are, they need to rise up and demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi, because he is fighting on our behalf. He is fighting for our freedom. He is fighting for us to have a say. He is fighting for us to have a kingdom. Because we had a kingdom before the white man came. We have a kingdom. We are a nation. They come and destroy us because of what we have. And they are still doing what we have. We as Biafrans or as Igbo man, our land is blessed. Everywhere in our land is blessed. Even the sun that we throw away is blessed. So we need to stand in our own ground. We need to stand in the land that God has given us. We need to stand in the material God has given us and start to demand our rights, demand our freedom. If they don't want to give us our freedom, Martin King said, "I have a dream." He has a dream to liberate his people, and he did. So we as IGM, we have a dream to make sure that our people are being liberated from Mazi Nnamdi, whether the pastors are included or not. My own perspective is that when we start something, others to follow. It is we can't all sit down and want people to start the action. We have to take the lead. When we take the lead, we will see others to follow. Because fear has already been instituted in the life of an Igbo man. Right from the leadership. Look at the governors. They can't say a word because they are all eating from the crumbs. What's supposed to be theirs to give others. Now they are the people giving them, even giving them crumbs. So they can't say anything. They can't act anything. They can't do nothing. Even before you got to go into that position, there are so many things you need to write. I'm telling you, you need to write and agree that you're going to do before they ever give you that position. So that's why they don't have any say, whether the formal or the president or whoever, the senator or what, they don't have a say because their hands are tied. They are being tied in a cage. That's why they can't have a say. It is left for us and people outside that see what is happening. They see the injustice, what is happening, to act. So when we start to act, when we start to take action, do something, others will follow. Let's be the pace setters. Let's set a pace, a platform, a pace that others will follow to act. Because we can't just keep quiet. The more we keep quiet, the more the Britain. I'm not calling you Yoruba or Hausa. It is the Britain and the Americans that are fueling this. What is happening in our land? Yoruba man, we can take him out at any time. But the people who supposed to be facing is the Britain, the British. They are the people that is holding us down because of our resources. The Americans are the people that hold it down before they only use these people that are available for them to be used to torture Igbo man. We don't have say in our land. I mean, if you talk, you die. So even if you don't talk, you die. So what's the point of living anyway? So my message today is for us to stand up. If it is for me to start bringing every pastor that is an Igbo man, for us to start to advocate for Mazi Nnamdi, because that's the starting point. Because if they didn't release him as we start this campaign, you know that the campaign will take another dimension, because they are now putting hands in our eyes and telling us we can't do nothing. That's how I see it. They are putting pepper in our eyes, saying that go to hell. What can you do? And every Igbo man just relax, doing his own business. They went to Lagos and burned every Igbo man's shop. What is the problem? What did we do? Nothing, just jealousy. So we can't sit down and leaving people that we feed to be trampling on our head, just like that. I'm a woman. I am very angry of what is happening. We need to take a stand and make sure that IGN be at the forefront of this struggle. So we'll make sure that our voice is being heard. We'll make sure that we take down whoever wants to take down by petitions, whatever it is. We'll take the person down. We'll make sure that everywhere we are entering to speak, we have our facts and figures that this is what is right, and we are not going back from it. Either you give it to us or something else happen. That's the only way Nigeria or Britain or America will know that these people are not people we can joke with. They had joke with us for this is 50 years or more than. And we keep quiet. We're doing like zombies, people that doesn't even know who they are. That have made us to we don't even know ourselves anymore because of what is happening to us. Let's leave the Yorubas. I know that when they start, they will join, because Yorubas, you can't trust them. For me, I could have dealt with them. You can't trust them because when you start dealing with them, they will stab you at the back. They're always backstabbers. I'm saying this openly because I have dealt with them a lot. So let's leave Yorubas at this time. Let's walk in our own thoughts and our own pace. Then when they see the action happening, they will join. Nobody will tell them to join, but they will join. I myself would try to start speaking with the Igbo pastors that I know from here, even the ones that I know are back in Nigeria. That I do go when I go to Nigeria. I do minister in the platform. I will start to have a conference call with them. So we will need to stand up and do something, even if it's 2 or 3 or 5 pastors that start to speak. I think we'll start from there. I'll end my message today on this, and I pray that God will.
Very well said. I want you to.
Thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak.
Yeah, Pastor Nick, I want you to look into the camera and speak specifically to a pastor, Igbo pastor or bishop or archbishop, and ask him, what are you doing about the raise of Nnamdi Kanu? Why are you not demanding? For instance, Evangelist Ebuka is a man of God I love dearly. I believe he's God's gift to Igbo, God's anointed. So I'm going to call him out today. I know he's been praying for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, but it's not enough to pray. Okay, so my message, and I want you to speak the same way.
Prayer is not enough.
So prayer is not enough. I want you to speak the same way. Call out tonight. I'm calling out Evangelist Chukwu Ebuka Obi. He's a man of God I love dearly. He's a great man of God. Ebuka Obi. He loves Igbo, sent by God to Igbo. So, Evangelist Ebuka Obi, please.
All right, sir.
It is time for you to use your office and your microphone to demand the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That's my message to you, Evangelist. We're not going to dance around this issue. I know you prayed
Thank you
for
so
him.
much.
Yeah, I know you prayed for him, but it's time for you to use your office to demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and every other bishop, Igbo, no matter what title you hold, pastor, bishop, archbishop, whatever. We're not dancing around words anymore. We're not saying nice words anymore. We're not saying pleasantries anymore. We're not being political about it. We're not speaking from both sides of our mouth anymore. It is time to demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu publicly in front of your congregation, and let every single Igbo man, every single Igbo believer who believes in God, who goes to church every Sunday, 3 times a week and all of that, it is time to use your mouth, use your microphone, and demand for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Barrister, let me come to you. What is your message to Igbo youth at this point in time? You know, these politicians have a responsibility to us. They have a duty to represent Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They have a duty to represent you and I. That is their job. In fact, my question to you is twofold. Earlier on, we called for Igbo politicians to walk out of National Assembly. So what is your message to Igbo politicians in the face of the continual assault on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rights? And also, after that, your message to Igbo youth in the face of the assault on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rights. What is the message to Igbo youth concerning the politicians? And what is your message to the politicians concerning National Assembly? When are they going to walk out of National Assembly in protest? Barrister.
Yes, thank you, Convener. Your question is very, very important to give justice to this issue concerning the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Because Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did nothing wrong to demand for his right to self-determination. So the choice before the politicians from Igbo land is two. It is either that they stand up and demand for the release of Nnamdi Kanu and follow it with proper legislative action, or they have to come out from their shells and accept that they are satellite loyalists of the local violent proxies of the slave masters. This is where we are now. Because we have been dancing around this issue for a long time. You cannot say that we are representing a people and the same people are being dehumanized. They are being treated with infra-dig. Their socioeconomic rights are being trampled upon to the extent that they cannot flourish in their own land. And you are saying you are representing them. You are not representing them if you continue to verbalize about their plight. You should take steps. If the institutions that you are purporting to represent them is not hearkening to your voice, you know what to do. Walking out from the parliament is a way to express your grievances, to express your solidarity with your people. The politicians, the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, we have been holding that position for a long time. I used to call it mere high-sounding positions. The governors, the State House of Assembly, which is an appendage of the governor. We know all those things. But if you want the people to represent you, you have a single opportunity to redeem yourself by demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. Because if you are not for your people, you are against your people.
Absolutely. Even
if you are answering Igbo name, it's not enough. We remember that Chief Matanzima of the Transkei Bantustan state was Mandela's nephew, but he was an agent of apartheid. So if you are a governor, a member of House of Reps, a senator, and you're not demanding for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, you are just an agent of you are just similar to the agents of the apartheid states that war in face of black people. So you are bearing an Igbo name, whereas you are the agent of the oppressive state. You are the agent of the violent proxies of the slave masters. Let the Igbo politicians bear one thing in mind that they're supposed to take responsibility for. It was George Anthony Kakando Trinidad in the Kosovo opinion that said, any state that turned itself as a machine of death and destruction of the people that they're supposed to protect have lost its sovereignty. So if the Nigeria state continue to dehumanize the Igbos, deprive the Igbos of their fundamental human rights as a people, and the members of House of Representatives, the senators, the governors, and other purported leaders of the Igbos continue to keep quiet, they are compliance to the gross violation of human rights against the Igbos. And coming to the OHANEZE, OHANEZE should take responsibility about what is happening in Igbo land, because all what they have been doing is to be validating the oppression of the Igbos. They continue to validate the domestic institution that they used to unleash institutional violence, psychological violence, and physical violence against the Igbos, especially in Nnamdi Kanu. When they go to the court knowing fully well that the Nigerian justice system is by necessary implication partaking in what the Nuremberg trial described as the judicial murder, they are working against the Igbos. And this message goes to the Igbo youth. The Igbo youth should wake up. They should free themselves from false consciousness. They should not take solace in substance to sedate their minds, just like every other group that are oppressed. We understand that they are oppressed. We understand that the politicians that are supposed to be a beacon of hope for them are taking advantage of their impoverishments by the system to continue to impoverish them, to use them as willing tools, as obliging shells. So the Igbo youth should not succumb to that situation. They should stand up and start demanding for their rights. Their right, because the politicians, whether they are rigged into the office or they are voted into the office, by the virtue of being in that position, they are accountable to them. They should stand up and start holding them accountable. They should start asking the right questions. Who am I? What am I? That's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to be looking around them. And they should be asking the questions. If Nigeria doesn't want me, I have my right to self-determination. It's not treason. It's not treasonable felony as they used to say it. It's not terrorism. It is their freedom of expression. Because the same Judge Anthony Kakan doctrine and they said, if a people are deprived of their right to self-determination and they are not being treated equally in the same entity, it is the states that triggered for their remedial rights to external self-determination. So if the Igbo youth are demanding for their right to self-determination, it is the Nigeria state that triggered it, because they continue to marginalize the Igbo youth. They scored the highest cutoff mark to attain the same outcome with other people from other ethnic nations. While the politicians are sitting down there, while the deputy speaker of House of Rep is sitting down there, we had the previous deputy Senate president, but none of them addressed the plight of the Igbo youth. They suffer to get anything in Nigeria. The Igbo youth should stand up and start demanding it. And also, let me extend it to other youth from other ethnic nations. You always come and say that Igbo youth should join together with you to redeem Nigeria. But you are benefiting from the injustice being meted against them by enjoying the proceeds of low cutoff marks against the Igbo youth. That is the different layers of incentives you are enjoying against your fellow youth. It is mark of injustice. It is mark of inequalities. The politicians are getting admission for their own children, while the Igbo youths are turning all around. The young women are being lured to different parts of the country in search of admissions. They are being exposed to all forms of sexual harassments just to gain admission. Igbo youth, you should not allow your future to be destroyed by the politicians. All the Igbo politicians, the governors, if you cannot take responsibility, you must be ready to accept the tag of being the satellite loyalists of the violent proxies of the slave masters. Because what is happening in Igbo land now is unacceptable. Our youth cannot be destroyed by narcotics being given to them by politicians. The judiciary should stand up and start protecting us. This is my message to Igbo youth, and this is my message to Igbo politicians. It is time for Igbo youth now to divorce themselves from false consciousness and begin to ask the right questions, because they are the leaders of tomorrow. They should not be deceived by anybody that want to tell them that God is going to come down to solve their problem. God do not come down to solve problems. Any person telling them that, any pastor telling them that, is equivalent to the magicians of Pharaoh, who wanted to deceive the Israelites from seeking for their right to self-determination from Pharaoh. The magicians of Pharaoh are operating in different aspects. They're operating as intellectuals. They're operating as pastors. They're operating as politicians. The Igbo youth should wake up and clear their eyes from the magicians of Pharaoh that are roving around in Igbo land. The Igbo youth should wake up and start now framing their own narratives when they meet the youth from other ethnic nations. You should start asking them, why are you scoring low cutoff marks? Whereas I'm scoring high cutoff mark? Why can't you come and protest with me so that I can enjoy the same rights with you as a fellow Nigerians? This is my message to Igbo youth. It's time to stand up. Be your own self-liberator. Be your own self-liberator. Emulate role models that liberated themselves. If you cannot find role models in West Africa, turn to Southern Africa to look for role models. Turn to Southern Africa to look for youths that stood up to liberate their people. Thank you very much, Convener. Thank you very much, Convener. Thank you.
Very, very well said, Barrister. Very well said. Mazi Mbakwe, you know, we have a lot of Igbo organizations all over the place. They come with all kinds of high-sounding names, yet we don't see them coming out and calling and demanding for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. What is your message to Igbo organizations, from OHANEZE Igbo to ADF to World Igbo Congress and so on and so forth? What is your message to these people concerning the continued assault on the rights, on the fundamental human rights of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? What is your message to them, Mazi Mbakwe?
First of all, let me congratulate my brother, Barrister Nekwe. Well delivered. And I hope our people are listening. And I hope they understood you clearly. If any of them has failed to understood you, then he or she probably need a psychiatric evaluation, because we cannot continue to sin that grace may abound. It's high time we wake up. High time we wake up and embrace the coffee. And now the rest of the story. OHANEZE, Ndioshi, World Igbo Congress, ADF. It's not just taking on a big giant name. We want to see you in action. We want to see you in action. We want you guys to get involved. Our brother Nnamdi Kanu is in chains. And let me make it clear to every one of us. As long as Nnamdi Kanu remains in chains, we're all in chains. We are all in chains. The Igbo man is in chains. And again, let me remind everybody, the young lion has woken up. The youth. And I urge the youth to begin to act like a young lion that woke up, ready to fight. Because peace cannot be negotiated. Freedom cannot be negotiated. You have to demand it, because the human nature is such that once they have the sweet in their mouth, they are not willing to, throw it out. They can't spit it out. Like Tinubu said, grab it, snatch it, and run with it. This time around, we're going to come after you. Our politicians that have failed to do the needful. We are urging you now, this is the early stage. We are urging you to begin to undo what you have done wrong. All those money you compromise and got into your pocket and out here building mansions. buying houses here in Europe, in America, paying cash. What a stupidity. What a shame. Even Americans that own all this work, they don't buy houses or real estate and pay cash. That means you are coming in with a stolen money. It's very clear. So, but that's not the subject matter today. What we have at stake today is our brother in chains. He has done nothing, he's innocent. We need to rally around and do the needful and get him out. That's just the beginning. As long as he's in chains, you yourself, you're not free. OHANEZE, you're not free. ADF, you're not free. It's not taking on names. We want to show. We want you to show that knowledge, that experience, that wisdom. So today, Igbo Global Network is re-inviting you to take on your respective roles and act in harmony together to get our brother out, Nnamdi Kanu, who is under DSS dungeon. There's no rhyme and reason why he should remain there. There's no rhyme and reason why he should remain there. Freedom for his people is not asking too much. He's not violating any international law, any even Nigerian law. It's just that the federal government, the violent proxy of the British government and American government, have decided to hold him down. But holding him down means holding us down. And there's not teaching the history, particularly of the Biafra War. It's not going to help you because I have the war. I'm a veteran. So I will pass down all the knowledge I have of the war to my children. And it's going to one day resonate. We're going to fight back. So you might as well surrender now, release Nnamdi Kanu, so there will be peace. Because as the Roman says it, C2 wireless bella paratim. If you want peace, you have to prepare for war. We are preparing for war now. We have to fight back. No going back. We might as well die. If we're going to die, we might as well die big. That one.
Closing remark for Chief Danny. Your closing remark. What is your message, Chief Danny, to every Igbo man or woman around the world concerning the assault on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's rights? Because we have talked about the politicians, we have talked about OHANEZE, we have talked about the church, we've talked about the church. But every Igbo man or woman, Mandike no Nulo, Mandike no diaspora, Mandike no Nama, Mandike no Nulo, what is your message to every Igbo man? What should they be doing now to make sure Nnamdi Kanu is released? Chief Dennis, closing remark as we round this, as we close this broadcast. Chief Dennis, can you hear me?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me first and foremost say this. I am hearing you and I'm already talking. Can you hear me now? So I am saying that the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is a member, it's a statement of fact. So fundamentally, I am calling on His Grace, Church of Nigeria, let him make a clear statement because it is one of his members that is incarcerated. Again, let me also say this. I have said it earlier on. The ethnic nationalities in Nigeria should join hands with us. Let them join hands with us. Let them show to the whole world and to Nnamdi that what is being done against them It's against good conscience. And it's against humanity. If there must be one God, one love, one humanity, let them join hand with us and vindicate us that we have done nothing wrong by demanding for our own. If we are to be in Nigeria, let us be in Nigeria. Let us to be full citizens participating in everything. Such demands are not cruel to anybody. So why are they holding us on the neck? Why are they trying to chain our feet and hands down? And let me beg every Igbo man, wherever you are, Ugo, Eberena na Mbabu, Ejigi Igbo Agwandi Ochokwu. Every Igbo man must wake up now. It is no longer about IPOP, MASSOP, or whatever they call it. It is about the humiliation being meted out against Igbo. That is what we are talking about. Buhari insulted us. Tinubu have continued. So we must all put our hands together now to make sure that we call this bullshit enough is enough. It must stop. And having said that, let me also beg the living souls and good consciences in Yoruba land. They should join voice with Sunday Igboho, who has actually asked the president of Nigeria to let this man come out of that dungeon. He has committed no crime. Igboho said that. And I am aware also that some other Yoruba people have said that. Please let them join their voices with us to demand this is determination. At that point also, let me come this way. APC as a party should make sure right away that they clear their name from the kind of stigma they have, unleashed against themselves. Because from the inception of their leadership in Nigeria, it is like their hands are against Igbo. And I want to beg APC, if there is anything Igbo may have done wrong against you as a political party, come in the open and tell us. Stop this seek and hide game. It's in APC that we discovered that a man and his people can be so insulted, humiliated, humbled as Buhari did to us. And now it is continuing also in your own second government in office. Whatever may be the reason why you are troubling us, APC, please, we are begging you, let loose your hand off our necks. So if you are aware of the degree of evil you are doing against us and you want to continue, well, there must be a payback time. But we are begging you and we are demanding and asking, let loose your hand from our neck, APC. Talk to your number one.
Absolutely.
Talk to all that are holding Igbo down. It is time to release us. Thank you very much.
It is time to break every hand holding us down. It is time to break every leg. We're not begging anymore. It is time to break every hand, every finger, every leg holding us in any way, shape, or form. It is time to break it because, what is good for the goose is good for the gander. Barrister, closing remark, 1 minute, sir. 1 minute. Your message to Igbo youth. What is your message to Igbo youth at this point in time? What should they be doing on social media? What should they be doing with their voice? What is your message to Igbo youth? 1 minute, Barrister, as we close this broadcast.
Yes. My message to Igbo youth, what they should be doing with their time and their voice is to
use it for what will impact their future as Igbo people, and voice out their challenges as Igbos, and not be afraid to voice out for the release of Nnamdi Kanu, because the arrest and detention of Nnamdi Kanu is the arrest and detention of their future life and aspiration. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Barrister. Mazi Mbakwe, your closing remark, what is your message to Igbo youth at this point in time?
Igbo youth, please listen. This is your time. This is your future. This is your career. Don't take it for granted. Don't settle for less. Wake up. Join forces with Igbo Global Network. We have a department for you where you can come in, where we can encourage you, where can I push you, advise you, encourage you, promote you. That way you can take hold of your future and write your own history. Don't let someone else write your history, as is happening now. One word is enough for the wise. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, you've heard it, my friends. We've come to the end of tonight's broadcast. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has done nothing wrong. Igbo Global Network demands for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. He has done nothing wrong. And in this broadcast today, we've called and we challenge every Igbo politician, every Igbo organization, OHANEZE, ADF, World Igbo Congress, everybody. We call you, we challenge you, we demand that you rise up and do what you're supposed to. Every Igbo man or woman will ask you to rise up, lift up your voice. We're not begging, we're not pleading anymore, we're not asking, we are not kneeling for anybody. Nobody is going to kneel or plead to Tinubu for release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, because that is his inalienable right. We're demanding the immediate release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And so what you can do from where you are, as a bishop, as over a church, as a pastor over a church, as a business owner over employees, what you can do as a father, as a mother, as a parent over your children, what you can do as OHANEZE Igbo is not come to us with political solution. That is nonsense. What you can do, ADF, is not keep quiet or say, oh, we wrote a letter or we made the application. No, it is time for you to mobilize your organization and everybody speak from their point of view, from wherever they are, and lift up their voice and demand for the immediate and unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. That is what you can do. No speaking with both sides of your mouth. No right say, we wrote a letter, we made a court application. That is nonsense. It is time to demand for the immediate and unconditional release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And before we go, I'll remind you of the poem by the German pastor who said, they came for the communists and I did not speak up because I'm not a communist. Then they came for the trade unionists and I did not speak up because I'm not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jew and I did not speak up because I'm not a Jew. And yes, you guessed it, what happened next. Then they came for me and there was no one to speak for me. Today, it is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tomorrow, it will be your son, your daughter. Today, it is Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Tomorrow, it could be your father or your mother, your brother or your sister. This is the time to use your voice. This is the time to do what you ought to do. Chains on the hands of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu are chains on your hands. Use your voice. Use your position of power. Use your influence. Politicians, walk out of National Assembly. Do what you have to do. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu must be released. Thank you very much. This is Igbo Global Network. You can reach us on +1 202 787 8909 or on our website, igboglobalnetwork.com. You can also reach us by email, igboglobalnetwork47@gmail.com. My name is Tony Mwisi. It's a pleasure being with you with a great panel tonight. Mazi Mbakwe, who's a veteran, Barrister Chukwuma Niekwe, who's based in South Africa, and Chief Dennis Ebo also, making the case on behalf of Igbo Global Network and the Igbo people globally that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is and of right a free man and should be freed, demanding that he be freed. Until we come your way next time, my name is Tony Nwisi. Thank you very much, and good night.
Good night.
Ndị Igbo ndewo.